Hello everybody, welcome to February's Camp Challenge Alliance. This video is going to be me taking this piece of cedar. It's about 2.5 inches round, I'd say about 16 inches long, and making as many camping tools as I can out of it. I'll be using a multitude of tools to do that. First thing I'll be doing is with the knife and the baton and splitting her in half. And first project is going to be a spatula, and from there I'm going to just see how many more things I can make out of one piece of wood. Should be fun, and I'll be happy to take everybody along with me. Here we go. You have one little knot here. The rest of it's pretty clean. This is a seasoned piece of cedar, so what I'm going to try to do is split it away from the knot here. Hopefully this goes pretty good. Cedar's usually pretty good about a straight grain and such, but not too bad. See where the knot is here in the wood, so whatever I use this piece for, I'll have to work around it. But this one I'm gonna split again. I'm trying to get a spatula out of it. I'll try that. Go about 1/2 inch. Splitting away, but that's all right. I can split it again from the other side, do the same thing. Whatever's left in the middle, I'll just have to carve off. Actually, not too bad. It'll work out all right. These, I might be able to make something out of this one, but this one probably just going to go into the fire kit. Cedar does burn pretty good. Out of this one, I'd like to get a spoon, would be nice. I might have to cut it off right there and make a short spoon, and then use this other chunk for something else, I guess. But yeah, not bad. You can see I got pretty close to the pith here. I'll take all that out. Definitely thin it down, decide which end's going to be the tip. This end looks a little better, and the way it's splitting, we'll just try to take another sliver off of here. Not a bad piece. It's a little thinner now, which isn't bad. Yep, so I'll have to bust out some more tools, and usually I do this on a stump, but I don't have any stumps around here, so got to be careful not to hit the knife or any of my tools on the concrete as I'm working. But yeah, I'll have to get out my carving axe and shape this a little bit better, and we'll keep going. Alright, I'm on a pretty big head, so I'll probably cut it in both sides like this. And then try to split it basically like this into a handle. Leave the head pretty good. What I also am going to do is here on the head, I'm going to cut this at an angle, because I like my spatulas at an angle. Then I'll do the next step. Move my table over here, and I'll take my saw, I'll cut here and here. And try to leave 3/4 of an inch at least, and then come down here and try to baton off the two sides as much as possible. Then I can start actually carving it. It'll be a little easier. You take off the bigger chunks of meat, and I'll take the saw and cut across here too. So that would be the next step. What I have here is a little tiny dovetail saw. Works pretty good. It's pretty strong. Can never tell which side the good teeth are on, but just start off easy here. My table's not very sturdy. And these, you ever used one of these blades, they're really bendy. I gotta be careful too. Like I said, my table's not very strong. And this is a well-seasoned piece of cedar also. Just like that, make the cut, and I'll do the other side the same, and I'll be back as soon as I'm ready to do the splitting. And I've got the notches cut on both sides here, so I gotta go to the ground now. I don't want to beat on this table, it's not too strong, but all I'm gonna do is come in just outside my line here. And I know it's not gonna split straight because it hasn't yet, so. And yeah, you can see didn't split very good, but I'll try the other side. And the same thing, just outside my line. And that one split a lot better. So not too bad. I think I'll come in just a little bit more and try to get it closer to my notch here. So we'll go another 1/4 inch. Same thing, it just split away. But that's not bad looking. I'll be able to carve this easy enough. Cedar is an easy product to work with as far as that goes. My next step will be to cut this with the saw. Then I can start whittling her down. I will make this quite a bit thinner. It'll taper, not quite this thick, but a little thinner, and it'll taper down to, I don't know, a little over 1/8 of an inch, 3/16, something like that. And then I'll cut an angle in the end also, which I might do with the saw to start with. We'll see how it works. But for that, I'm going to need a little better saw, so we'll bust out the Silky for that. Bring the table back over here, get her off the edge. So if I come in, careful with the Silky, that's for sure. Hopefully it's still in camera view here. All I'm doing is cutting this at like a 45-degree angle. And I'll come back when I'm done. As you can see, I got a nice little angle on here, and all the rest of this is just going to be knife work. So bust out the Mora and start with just shaving. I will be saving all these shavings. It's kind of why I'm doing it over the concrete. It's going to be easier to get them. But yeah, just going to sit here and just whittle at it. Dry cedar's pretty tough, but that's all right. Probably need to sharpen my knife a little bit. But yeah, I'll keep whittling on this, and I'll come back when I kind of get a decent shape to the handle. You can see, starting to get a pretty decent shape. Lots of little curls. That's the way it goes. Alright, now I have all the rough shaping down. The rest of the work will be done with sandpaper, just to smooth it out, and I'll shape this a little bit better on the head. It looks pretty good so far, but I want it a little bit thinner, not too much, because you don't want them to break. I've had that happen many times. But yeah, the next step will be sanding it down and getting rid of all the rough spots, maybe even a little bit more, you know, whittling on it to smooth out some spots. So I look at it, I look like a little thick still in the middle, but easy fix. Just keep picking at it and it'll come down. But yeah, basic spatula. That's still a lot of work to do on it, but sanding takes time. And I will round off all the edges with the sandpaper just to make sure there's nothing rough where food can get stuck in it and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, that's going to come out pretty nice. So I'm going to set that aside now. So I want to do all the sanding at one time. And I'm going to start working on this piece. which, like I said, I'm just going to cut it right above the knot there, straight across. We'll get rid of all that bad stuff, and then I'll start shaping this into a, I don't know, what, 8-9 inch spoon. And then I don't know what we'll do with this end piece, but we'll figure something out. But yeah, I'm just going to keep working at it here. First thing I'm going to do is cut this off, and then I'll draw my spoon pattern onto the wood, and do the same thing I did with the spatula, where I just instead of square, it's going to be round, and then I'll just cut 2 notches in, trim the sides down a little bit, and then yeah, a lot of that it's going to be, you know, taking the carving axe and cleaning up as much of the big stuff as I can with the axe, and then yeah, then it's back onto the, you know, the old knife, and work it from there. Yeah, I do have a spoon knife that I'll use for carving out the bowl, but I'll show you that when I get to it. But first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this off and mark it out, and I'll come back. And I got the end piece cut off to the side here. I got a bowl keeping all my stuff together because the wind's blowing. But you can see there's the basic shape of a small spoon. It probably won't go all the way the depth of the piece here, because I really don't need that big a spoon. But you know, pretty simple. All these pieces, you know, are going to be pretty simple. Loose piece of wood here. Oh, there we go. It'll be doing basically the same thing. I'll take the axe or the saw, cut off the corners, get rid of all this stuff, and then I'll probably make a cut in back here and up here. Basically cut it like this and like this up to a, you know, handle height, and then I'll do that after I get rid of these big chunks, because that's less to work with. And at that point it'll be I'll smooth that out a little bit, but I want enough meat that I can really hang on to while I'm working on the spoon itself. Yes, my drawing isn't very good, but hopefully in the carving it comes out a little better than that. But yeah, I keep going off camera to do the cuts because I have to do those kind of on the side over here out of the way, and I don't really want to move the camera every time I move there then move back. But yeah, I'm just gonna make simple little cuts, cut off big chunks, and then baton out this hunk and this hunk. Hopefully I do see a little curve to the grain on this line. You can see if it kind of follows the grain, so it's gonna have a curved handle just like the spatula does. You know, unless you have a perfect piece of wood or you want to carve it too perfect. I don't find perfect being that big a deal, so I'm gonna have fun and start working on this one next. And yeah, I'll still have to figure out what I want to do with this piece. Don't know yet, but either way I'd have to make a cut a little chunk off there to get rid of that knot piece, because knots do not help with any kind of woodworking project unless they're beautiful and they're in a good spot. So I'll come back in a few. I got 2 chunks off the side knocked down. I think now what I'm going to do is go ahead and with the axe kind of shape it a little better, that way knock off the 2 little corners that I don't need there, and then start working the bowl shape here at the back. I'm going to leave the front alone for now, because it's nice to have a flat surface that I can sit it down on. But yeah, takes a little work, takes a little time, but it's coming along. Alright, well, I've got most of the big chunks carved off here. You can see I did a wedge shape. I am going to cut it a little more shallow. Like I said, I don't want it to be, I have to move inside with this wind, but what I'm going to do next is kind of shape the handle a little more so it's comfortable to hold when I start scooping out the bowl. And yeah, you can see I went over my line, but that doesn't matter. It'll turn out either way. I just got to, you know, thin this out a little more. I'm probably going to put a little bit bend into it, we'll see, because it does have a slight bend to it anyway when I flatten it out. But yeah, slow but sure, and I still got to take a cut and cut this way too, and this way. I might do that with the axe, we'll see. I really don't want to take a chance hitting my axe in the concrete. It's titanium, so it's doesn't like to hit rocks. But I'm gonna keep going and see you around. We got to kind of round it off. Now it's comfortable in my hand, at least for now. Gotta start working on the bowl, so we gotta bust out the spoon knife. And this one's pretty easy. You just kind of keep going. As you can see, the pith, I'll have to dig past that, and I'll have to carve the spoon down past that point here, which is no big deal. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit here for a while and just keep scooping. This knife is kind of scary because it is a double-edged, so you can work from both ways. You just gotta really keep control of it. And try not to let your finger slide up too far because it's sharp clear up to this point. Which, don't get me wrong, I've cut myself plenty of times. But I'll come back once I've got a little progress on this. This is basically what I'll use to shape the inside. Try to round it up a little more also, because yeah, I got a really odd shaped spoon. But that's the fun of doing this kind of project, is no two are the same. I'll actually show a photo of a bunch of spoons and forks and knives I've made out of wood. That should be pretty cool. Well, as it turns out, I messed up. I cut too deep on the back here. The pith is actually really close, so this is garbage. Go figure. Make good firewood still. So I'm gonna set this aside. Don't worry, I've got lots of spoons I've made. And I don't know. Try to think on what to do with this piece. If it wasn't twisted, I could make like a net needle out of it, which would be kind of cool. But it's twisted, so that won't work out. Just kind of thinking of making a small spatula out of this one, which I think I might do. It'll be really small, but that's nice for in the backpack, stuff like that. So I think that'll be the next one. We'll just make another spatula. Still have not decided what to do with this piece. Just unsure. I'll figure it out at some point. None of this is going to go to waste. Like I said, maybe keeping all the little chips and stuff for my fire kit. Pieces that I'm not going to use will go in the fire kit. This is all good stuff. I could probably easily make a couple good chopsticks out of this, but I don't use chopsticks anyway. And this one isn't too bad, but it's kind of small for most projects. But yeah, I'm curious on this one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and at this point go ahead and finish this other spatula up, and I need one for my outdoor kitchen. The one I have right now is kind of wore out, so I'm gonna finish this one up, which right now, like, got to sand down the handle, smooth it out a lot better, taper the tip a little bit more, which takes time, and sand it all down. I'm probably actually going to put a stamp on this one. I do have a stamp for my logo. I haven't done it on a spatula yet, so it'll be interesting to test out. But I'll come back to you when I'm close to finished with this. Probably close to a couple hours of sanding. Got a really smooth product here, and now it's time to put my mark on it, which my wife had custom made for me, which is cool. I'm just going to use my camping stove to heat the iron up and stamp it, so let's see how it turns out. Odds are I'm probably going to overheat it and burn a bunch, then I'll just sand it down to make it look better, but here we go. Pretty simple. It's a brass stamp. Usually when I had the forge, I just stick it in the forge for like 2 seconds, be done. But overall, we got to heat this up pretty good. And while I'm waiting, I figured I'd do a shout out and thanks to Al Shafe, my back step, and Expeditionary Johnny, because without them this group wouldn't be possible. And I want to thank everybody that's participating. These challenges are always going to be easy, they're always going to be family friendly. So you can't do like I do and carve, make something else. I mean, this month's challenge is pretty easy for everybody to do. Starting to see the black on the brass, it means that the temperature's getting close. And overall, next month's challenge is all about fire. It can be building a fire, or talk about fire safety. What's your plan in a fire? Do you have a go bag in case of a fire? All kinds of things can be surrounded by fire. And overall, you know, a lot of us outdoorsmen, we're going to definitely talk about fire, how to start fires, how to build fires, and stuff like that. I'm not quite there yet. But I think the more people that join this Camp Challenge Alliance, the more fun it's going to be. Sorry, I keep concentrating on the burning. I've seen a lot of great videos for this month so far. I always put my video out towards the end of the month, just so we have content for the Camp Challenge Alliance at the end of the month. And those that, outside of me, Al, and Johnny, that participate, have a chance of winning the Camp Challenge Alliance stickers, which are pretty cool. Each month we'll be selecting a new winner randomly, just to make it fair. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Let me turn that off and I'll put my hand in it. Focus this. And we're going to put the stamp right there. Oh yeah, I got it way too hot. Alright, we'll let that cool down. And as you can see, it was way too hot. That's fine. I'll sand it down, see what it looks like. Sanded it a little bit. So yeah, these stamps are pretty cool. My wife bought me this one for Christmas last year, I think it was, or the year before, something like that. I've used it a few times on some other products that I've made for other people. This is the first time I've used it on something for myself. But I think that came out alright. Not too bad. But overall, the spatula, gonna get a lot of use. I mean, I go through these things and every time I go camping, I forget to bring one in my backpack. So, like I said, I'm gonna use one of these slivers and make one just for my cook kit. Or I'll take my old one and use for my cook kit. But I want to thank everybody for watching. This has been fun. Kind of bummed about my spoon not turning out, but I've made a lot of spoons and you wouldn't believe how many I've thrown in the fireplace. Same with spatulas. Sometimes I'll make this and be sanding the handle. That's why the handle's so thick, because I've broken a lot of these just working them. As far as the head goes, this is pretty thick, but I like it for being able to scrape. Be careful now. Scrape in the pan, and the angle allows you to get under your food, like flipping eggs and stuff like that. I don't need a big surface. It's not like a regular hamburger flipper. You know, if I need to flip a hamburger, I can use a knife, you know. Flip pancakes, flip hamburgers. I've done it all with my knife, so it's not too big a deal. But eggs, the knife doesn't work out so well. So I like to have a spatula for that, and it's great for just stirring pots and everything else. I don't always make a long handle. I mean, at some point I'm probably gonna cut it right about there, right past the curve. But overall, I like it. And to finish this, I'm just gonna rub it with some olive oil, and that will change the color. Give me a second, I'll grab the olive oil and we'll do that. Time to put some olive oil on here. Let that soak into my cloth a little bit, but The oil just helps preserve it a little bit. It's not super great at it. One thing I do like is what it does for the color. And one thing I don't like about it is it will show any imperfections in the sanding and anything of that sort. Oh no, my hands are all greased up. But there we go. Spatula. I'll probably do another video on this as I start to work some of these other pieces I got from this little log. But overall, I want to thank everybody for watching. Been a fun little project. And gosh, I hope to do it again. Next month's challenge, like I said before, is about fire. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do for that one, but I'm probably going to have a fire and probably maybe show different ways to start a fire, easy and hard. I'm sure the other guys in the group and everybody else that participates in the fire challenge will have fun. Overall, thanks for watching.